Welcome to another week of NEAFL Eastern Footy Talk. I'm Greg Thomson, and joining us this week in the co-host chair is the coach of the Tuggeranong Hawks, Glenn Gorman. Glenn, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Greg. Good to be here.
Very nice to have you on board, and of course you on the weekend with the assistant coach for the seniors in the North East Australian Football League Rep games, Northern versus Eastern up there on the Gold Coast. Great trip away on the Gold Coast, wasn't it, Glenn? Off the field more than it was on the field, no doubt.
It was, mate. It was those Rep games. They're always a fantastic experience, mate. And that was, like you say, off the field was fantastic. On the field, not quite as good.
Good experience for the kids to come together, obviously from different clubs in the seniors and 21s. But I guess with the seniors, the amount of talent on display was absolutely exceptional. Ignoring the scoreline. On paper, brilliant team, hey?
It really was. Obviously there was a few missing from it, but on paper it looked like we had a pretty competitive team. There was the Crookses and the Bruces and those sort of calibre of players still mixed up in there. It really was disappointing, the outcome. But, I'm sure that some of those guys had, got something out of it.
Well, as you can see, we got some vision here. The start of the game was absolutely brilliant. You're up by 18 points. Ross Tungatalam up forward. Aaron Bruce got a sneaky goal as well. So the early signs, Glenn, were very, very good, weren't they?
They were. They really were. Rocky's a fantastic coach, and he really had them ready to go at the start of the game. That showed by the way they came out, and like you said, 4 out of the first 5 goals, I think it was,
yeah.
and things were buzzing along really good. I think, like I say to Rocky, after that 10-minute mark, I let him do his thing, and that's when it all fell to bits, mate.
That's right. Oh, don't worry, mate. You should have seen Jack Masters in the commentary box. That was something else too. Don't worry about that. Well, the end result was 201-56. Let's talk about the Northern Conference boys just quickly. I mean, they were impressive, especially up forward and through the corridor as well, fair to say.
Absolutely, mate. They were too good for us in every facet of the game. Like, let's be honest, they used the ball fantastically. They ran hard. They were big. They were strong. They were quick. They'd obviously, talking to a couple of them after the game, they'd been together for 6 weeks of pretty full-on training, which really showed when they were out on the ground. They were a very well-drilled, outfit, and it showed on the scoreboard.
Chris Rourke, after the game, in his speech to the players, said the Eastern Conference has hit rock bottom. Very honest assessment from Chris. He doesn't hold back. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I think that we've got to have a good hard look at every aspect of it. Rocky's very switched on. He was pretty. He was obviously pretty distraught after the game.
Yeah.
But we really do need to have a good hard look at it. I think we've got Tassie next year, and I think probably starting that process a bit earlier this year. Possibly getting the guys to train maybe once a month or in the lead up, and really pushing all the clubs to unite in a sort of like that united front, trying to really put it to Tassie.
Well, North East Australian Football League.com.au was there calling in the commentary box, and so was NEAFL Eastern Footy Talk, and we caught up with the coach Chris Rourke and a few of the players after the game.
Oh yeah, look, we really have to go back, and as I said, you hit rock bottom. You've got to have a look around and go, okay, how do we improve it? And to make, we're in the big league now. You're going to play these sides that take it fair income, and you can't just rock up. And we'll have a few discussions. Hopefully, have a good review and put things in place that next time we represent New South Wales, Canberra, or the ACT, we'll be a lot better prepared for it.
Obviously, terribly disappointing. To come away with a result like that is not what we came up here to do. So, I individual award aside, I think we lost by 150 points or whatever it was. So we probably let our conference down. But we've just got to learn from it.
Chris Rourke and Ryan Brabbers on there. Well, it was all smiles, as Glenn alluded to earlier, with the Northern Conference team taking out the win in a very, very comprehensive fashion. NEAFL Eastern Footy Talk caught up with their coach and star player.
Yeah, there was. I think we had winners all over the ground, and as you said, that was pretty obvious. Look, they played really well as a unit, and I think we had 10 guys from last year's state side and another 2 guys from the year before state side in the group. So that all helps in terms of them gelling. And they put their best foot forward about the 15-minute mark of the first quarter and just went on with it.
A really good 4-quarter effort. The New South Wales ACT boys obviously started and probably jumped us a little bit at the start, but after that we got our act together, and just for the whole side, as Jason said, for 22 blokes to go out there and do their role, we had a really good effort for 4 quarters. So it was fantastic to walk off and know we got the job done, and we all really enjoy playing in these sort of games. There's about 10 or 12 of us played last year as well, so we've got a good group together, and we rate it very highly that we want to perform as well as a team on these days.
Very good result for the Northern Conference team, no doubt about that. We'll take a short break. On the other side of it, all the action from the under-21s rep game. Do stay with us.
Since I was a kid, I dreamt of playing footy at the top level.
I remember the rush of taking the field for the first time.
And now I love it more than ever.
But all it takes is for one person
To ruin it for everyone.
So don't discriminate against anyone
because of their race,
gender or background. Because everyone deserves a fair go.
Keep your sport inclusive,
Safe and fair. Go to playbytherules.net.au.
Discrimination, it's simply not a part of any sport.
Welcome back to NEAFL Eastern Footy Talk. Greg Thomson and Tuggeranong Hawks coach Glenn Gorman, as we mentioned earlier, was on the Gold Coast for the rep games. And of course, Glenn, the under-21s kicked things off. The stars of the future in the NEAFL, the curtain raiser from 9 in the morning. They did much better than the seniors, so to speak, but the scoreline did sort of stretch out a bit, and the Northern Conference boys won that one as well.
Yeah, well, this is the one that I had more to do with.
Of course, mate, yeah.
No, they were really, they were very similar in both games, to be honest. They used the ball fantastically early and really blew us out of the water in the first half. To the boys' credit, though, they really came back tough in the second half, and I don't think we quite won the second half, but there was only maybe a goal or so in it. So, you know, I thought that was an encouraging sign for some of the youth coming through.
Good concept, isn't it? Gives them something to achieve to as well, starting in the 21s, then getting up to the seniors. So it's certainly got a lot of merit, doesn't it, that fixture?
It really has. I think it's a great idea. I think it gives you know, some of the younger crew, and actually a couple of the guys went up into the senior with Stevie Jolliffe and Steve-O. But yeah, no, I think it's a great concept, and hopefully you know, we get better and better as the years go on.
How do we dish out revenge? I mean, the Northern Conference boys were very happy. Craig Miller and co are very satisfied with the results of the weekend. I mean, you mentioned Tasmania early on. I mean, when do we get another fixture like this off the top of your head? You know, obviously it would be a great annual fixture to have. East versus North makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. I think it's you know, we can't say too much at the moment, the Eastern Conference, with the results that we've had. But you know, I don't think that we're as bad as those results reflect. No. I really don't. I think that we'll regroup. You know, obviously we've got to look at a whole range of different things. But well, I think it would be fantastic to be playing them every year. I really do, and hopefully that comes about and we can get some revenge back from the debacle on the
Even
weekend.
by 1 point. Don't worry about 150.
Absolutely.
1 point, mate. You take what you can get, Glenn. All right. Well, we'll take another break. We're going to talk NEAFL, big round of footy this weekend. Don't worry about that. And can your mob, Tuggeranong, get up? Do stay with us.
Get behind your team. For match details, head to neafl.com.au.
Well, it's round 10 of the North East Australian Football League Eastern Conference this weekend, and there's some big names, teams looking to sneak into the top 5. Let's have a look and get straight into it. The game number 1, Sydney Hills Eagles versus the UWS Giants at Bruce Purser, 2 p.m. on Saturday. In the nation's capital, it's the Belconnen Magpies and Sydney University, also 2 o'clock on Saturday. To Sunday, it's the Sydney Swans Reserves and the Gold Coast Suns at the SCG in a cross-conference fixture. Sunday, 2 p.m, Queanbeyan and Ainslie at Dairy Farmers. That'll be a huge contest. And Eastlake and Tuggeranong at Manuka Rival, also 2 o'clock on Sunday. Glenn, if you can put your Tuggeranong Hawks coaching hat back on. Big clash for you. Obviously winless so far this season, no doubt. Breaking the duck at Manuka Rival against Eastlake would be superb.
Mate, it would be fantastic. You know, we've obviously had a tough start to the season, and you know, the pressure's right on us. I think that, but looking at that, I think that it's on Eastlake as well. At this stage, no one wants to get beaten against by us. And I think that, we're in with a real good chance on the weekend.
Give us an insight. Coach of the club, bottom of the ladder, a draw against Belconnen earlier in the year. How hard is it? Is it hard to motivate the players? How do you get that extra level of enthusiasm and confidence and just tell the boys to back their ability?
Well, footy's, it's one of those games that you go through the whole range of emotions. It's fantastic when you're winning, and it's thrilling, and you get all those great emotions out of it.
Yeah.
But also on the downside, when things aren't going so well, the frustration, the disappointments, all these sorts of things creep in. We've been doing it tough down in Tuggeranong for the last few weeks. But in saying that, it's really built a resolve, I think, and the players have really kept very close. And they're obviously very eager to have a win.
Your lineup's incredible. I mean, there are some star players in your team. There is no doubt about that. I mean, we saw them on the weekend on the Gold Coast. Smith, Lauder, Pocock. He can take a screamer at the 50-metre line. Don't worry about that. Love it as well. I mean, the names are extraordinary at your mob.
Yeah, we have. We've got some good young players. Sometimes you forget how young some of those guys are, but. We've probably struggled a little bit with our spine, I think. We haven't really got too many big, strong key position players. But in saying that, once you lose a couple of those close ones and the confidence sort of drops off, it doesn't matter what sort of player group you do. You've really got to rebuild that confidence. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. Hopefully, with a really big effort on the weekend, we get closer and closer to a win.
And Mark Dragosevic, can't forget him. How good's he going?
Yeah, he's been really good for the football club. He's obviously getting on in years and getting towards the end of his football career, but he's been invaluable to some of the younger players, especially in close around the stoppages. He's got a fantastic set of hands, very quick and very accurate. Unfortunately, hasn't quite been able to get around the ground as much as we would have liked, but he's been fantastic.
Absolute star player, there's no doubt about that, formerly of the Richmond Tigers. Well, our live stream game this week is the Sydney Hills Eagles and UWS Giants, 2 o'clock on Saturday from Bruce. Purse. The boys in Sydney are looking after that one. Plenty of ways you can keep in contact with us. Twitter, NEAFL_Eastern, and on Facebook at neafl.com.au. Glenn Gorman, coach of the Tuggeranong Hawks, thanks so much for being with us, and best of luck on Sunday against Eastlake. Win number 1. The celebrations will be off the chart, I would have thought.
Absolutely, mate. Like winning the grand final this week.
Okay, we'll see how you go,
Good
Glenn.
on you, mate.
Thanks, mate. That is NEAFL Eastern Footy Talk. I'm Greg Thomson. See you next week.